All right, you guys, it's post-workout meal, Ninja Creamy prepared. This is the finished product. Let's fucking dig in. Mike, check, check. 111. Look at that. I mixed a rice cake in here, so it's like fire. A little bit of crunchiness. I got the other three defrosting in the fridge right now. Sorry, they're not as choppy as this one. I have to leave and go to my hometown for my grandfather's birthday, as well as also celebrate Father's Day the following day on Sunday. And I also need to get an oil change and I need to get gas. So a lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna chow this down and then take a shower, pack, and then eat the other two and head out. Look at this one. All right, this is the third one. I'm starting to get kind of full. Oh God, and it's, what time is it? And it's 11:35, so it's been like an hour. And after I eat this, I'm gonna pack, leave, and then we'll be done. Oh, bro. All right, we made it to the hometown. Meal one. No macros counted here. Dogs.
You want one tortilla?
What's good, guys? Back at it, Going over this training footage here. I'm going to make sure to mute the computer this time while I walk. So yeah, 7 days out, starting to prep. Initially, what you're going to see here is, we're doing some rear delt rows. Just playing around with a lot of the movements that you're going to see besides the bench press that's coming up next. But I prior to the prep training, I wasn't necessarily following any sort of strict program outside of the the strength stuff that I was doing for the bench press and some other movements like my RDLs and also my Smith machine squats. But that movement is actually not too bad. I'm not gonna lie. Those rear delt rows, especially if you're really focusing on pulling back and making sure that back part of your delt is really squeezing and firing, that they feel great. But got some bench press here as opposed to the last training log that you saw where I thought it was 205, definitely 195 here. Was doing a couple sets leading up to this last set here, which was basically up until I want to say an RP 9-10, honestly. So 1 to 0 reps left in the tank. But form is clean, brother. I kind of feel bad for asking this guy to spot me. He's kind of just standing there I was what the fuck? I don't even need to be here. But form is looking really clean. As you can see, butt's not coming off the bench. We're firing through the legs into the ground, really trying to force that up. Yeah, that's a nice clean rep there. I don't even know how many reps that was, but I'll probably look back on this and just put it on the screen. But strength seemed to be moving on that. But anyway, this is me playing around with the incline bench press, which is currently within my current training. You'll see going forward in the next video. It is the mainstay. It is my current number one focused chest pressing movement. I'm not going to say that my upper chest here was built via this exercise because, as you can see, not very strong at it. I think I only have 155 here. I was just playing around with the form. I am not a fan of this form. I'm super arched. It did actually feel pretty good, though. I'm not going to lie. But I've kind of adopted a much more open scapula type of form. So really just trying to lay on the bench and just allow my scapula to sort of move. However, as opposed to really clenching and staying super tight like I was there. And yeah, just playing around with some like this whole day. Honestly, it's chest and back day. Just playing around with like a lot of different movements prior to the prep training. Just trying to figure out if there's anything particular that I really wanted to focus on going into the prep training, and designing that new program that me and my coach had sat down and taking the time to work on. This is just a pull down variation, a little bit of a close grip. Really trying to drive the elbows in, almost sort of hunching forward a little bit towards the latter end to really emphasize and squeeze those lower lats as much as I can. Honestly, good rule of thumb for any of you that can't feel your back within your pull downs or just any sort of pulling movement, stop pulling with your wrists and just pull with your elbows. That is going to make such a big difference. Like, make a mental note of that, while also trying to, like, as always, standardize your form, but also see if you can actually feel, your lats moving and squeezing. And yeah, onto the weird shit now. I forgot his name. I think his name's Alex Leonidas. He went through multiple different names on YouTube. I watched a couple of videos of his. Big guy, by the way, really big guy. And he was like really, really shipping these underhand bench presses, and I was just playing around with it just to kind of see if maybe it was something that I wanted to include within my training. But as you can see, playing around with my wrist position and just the grip here, there is like a lot of people that ship this specific exercise. They all say how, like, if you're dealing with any sort of shoulder issues, this really just kind of curbs that, as well as also it does help emphasize the upper chest as well. I am not a fan, but I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I gave it a go. As you can see, I'm using a bit of a different sort of grip here. They call the hawk grip. So essentially, you have the bar going through these two fingers here. And you're doing that. I don't know, just something to try. Sometimes you just gotta try things just to know you don't like it. Yeah. So that's how that went, essentially. But yeah, the more I did it, the more I sort of realized, like, this is not too bad, but it's not great either. It really, like, I was really trying to work on like that hawk grip, and I feel like I sort of figured it out. It does feel a little bit more comfortable in terms of like holding it, but it's still painful. Like, they're like, I could not really like focus on the muscle group I was trying to focus on, which is the upper chest here. I could move the weight because it's not like it's only 135 pounds, but like most of my focus and emphasis and thought process was entirely on my grip. And the pain I was feeling, that guy's looking, he's like, what the fuck? Yeah, just the pain I was feeling within my hands. So would I recommend, but maybe one day I'll learn to like it. There was a period where I was deadlifting with hook grip, which to most people is pretty painful. To me, it wasn't. Now it is. I don't know. I guess I've slowly become somewhat of a softie over time. But yeah, we got some hammer curls here. I'm going over this footage. Like, I'm starting to remember now that around this time and at the beginning of prep, I was dealing with like some pretty major bicep tendonitis on not that bicep, but the other one, my right one, in the like inner sort of region here. And yeah, it was pretty painful. It almost felt like the ligament or the muscle was going to tear off, and it was making me super nervous because outside of getting kidney stones, tearing a bicep, or any sort of injury that is going to take me out of the gym and keep me from doing any sort of, whether it be like upper body, specifically upper body, but even like lower body movements, like tearing an ACL or something like that, it is a top 10 fear for me, for sure. And it is something that I try to emphasize, especially when it comes to mobility, and just making sure that I'm properly warmed up. But I think it was just a little bit of wear and tear, little excessive overuse in terms of the bicep volume that I was doing. I think in previous videos I kind of talked about how like arms are a weak point for me, at least in my mind. Deeper I get into prep, I think they still kind of are, but that's okay. It just means I can do more arm stuff, which is dope. But I was pushing the volume pretty heavily here. Even now, the volume's like, I would say it's not crazy, but there is like oh shoot, I'm gonna pick this up now. So looks like my mic died, but yeah, little flex going on here. We got some tricep push downs. So I'm just gonna pull this up here. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit better. But as I was saying, pushing the volume up pretty high on the biceps. Ultimately, I think that's what led to the pretty severe tendonitis that I was feeling, because I was also doing a lot of pulling movements as well, outside of just the vertical pulling, but also horizontal pulling, to really emphasize my lower lats. And this, I was actually liking this. I know like people clown on Dr. Mike and all that kind of shit about this, but I don't know, it's basically a skull crusher. You just leaned over. Yeah, I was feeling these, honestly. I don't know why I took these out, but maybe I'll bring them back in the future. You'll see, like, in the next video what the training is looking like. But, yeah, man, this is the last training day that I'll be going over with you guys prior to the prep training. Yeah, really, really trying to hit that failure there. Yeah, looking good though. Oh man, I need to wear this shirt. I don't know where I put this shirt, but a little bit of some posing here as well. A little ab shot at the 170, 172 region. But anyway, see you guys in the next one. Peace.